Welcome, everyone. Welcome. For those of you who have never been here before, welcome. For those of you who've been here a whole bunch, thanks for coming back. So, these success meetups, we do them Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays, and they are designed to do deep dives into one specific tool, work you through different sales funnels, some different sales tactics, make sure you're getting the most out of KV Core. So, you can register for just one session, you can register for all of the sessions, whatever you want to do. This is I'm doing quite a few webinars today, so I will be taking some water breaks. Got to keep the vocal cords happy. And you can register for sessions either through the live training calendar. So, right within KV Core, we've got the live training calendar right there. And for those of you watching the YouTube replay, that's why I've kind of let it sit here. You can just scan that QR code, it'll take you to the registration page that way too. And that's how you can catch the replay. We throw it up in that YouTube channel. We are starting to put them in the Facebook group as well. So, join that group if you have not yet. It is insiderealestate.com. So our company, insiderealestate.com/Facebook group. So yeah, pretty straightforward. I will also include a link to that. Let's see. We are starting to do just like one single doc for each training. So there's that doc for those of you who are live. For those of you watching the replay, it'll be down below in the description. And so we'll update that as we go today if there is anything that needs to be added. And that's also where you can find a lot of the resources that we talk about today. And I wanted to showcase that because right in there, you're going to have the Let's Get Social, how to connect with us on YouTube and our Facebook group. Okay. So today, short and sweet, probably, who knows, I always go longer than I intend to, is all about optimizing your seller report within KV Core. Now, lots of people don't know what a seller report is. So we're going to start there. We're going to start with what is a seller report. We are also going to talk about how you can add your clients to that seller report. So that way they're getting access and use of this great feature within KV Core. And then how do you optimize it? So by optimize, I mean, if there's this tool, you might as well use it to the best of your ability. So we'll talk about all of that today. So a seller report is an automatic report that goes out to your sellers through KV Core. It's going to tell them an overview of how many times the property has been viewed on your KV Core site. It's also going to tell them how many open houses you've done, how many showings you've done, if you add those things in. Okay, so it goes out once a week. It automatically gives them an update each week, so that way they know what's new and what you're doing for them, and it includes any comments that you're doing for them as well. So those comments can include showings, it can include open houses, it can include just general comments. So that's your seller report. Let's see, I've got a few seller reports that I can showcase, but let's just show you how to put someone on a seller report. There's two ways to do it. One is through on the dashboard, the playbook of promoting a listing. So playbooks, we have lots of these success meetings have gone over playbooks. If you want to see another one, well, we can definitely do another one. But promoting a listing is one of the first things you should do as you get a new listing. And so we won't go through everything in here today, but I will show you that as you're going through and promoting this listing, notifying other agents, things like that, this last section, this follow up and communicate, you can initiate a seller report email right from here. So this is my new listing. I can send my report in here to, let's say, Jenna. Click on Jenna, she's my lead. It's going to show me what this listing report is going to look like. All right, so this is also a great way if you want to just know what something looks like. So let's do that. So the promote a listing playbook, if you skip all the way down to the bottom, follow up and communicate, initiate a seller report email, select your contact in here, who is your client that should be getting that report. You can add more than one person. So let's say Jenna and Dan should both be getting this report, or let's put Isaac, right? So I can put, not Dan, but Isaac, so then they're both getting that report. You can definitely do that too. So this report is going to have your company logo. So that's mine. That's my office logo, Core Learning. And it's going to say Buy Inside Real Estate because that's my company. So we've got my office logo and my company in here. So you'll see that. The seller's report tells them, their property address. Hey, Jenna, as promised, in this email report, you'll find the latest activity, updates, notes, and metrics for your listing. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me anytime. So it's going to show them the number of open houses that you've had, the number of online views that have been sent to this property from your website. There are a couple outside sources that as a brokerage you can connect in, individual agents. This is what we're connecting in, but brokerage wide, you can do a couple others. So if you're interested in that, you can reach out to your account manager. And it shows the latest activity as well. So open houses do sync in here from the MLS. However, if you want it to, and that will go into this open house count. However, if you want it to be an actual item on here, you do need to go and kind of add that in. And I'll show you how to do that. And then at the bottom, there's my email signature. I'm very clever for your home valuations. That's my email signature that's added in on the bottom. So that's what a seller report looks like. Yes, it does pull those open houses from the MLS. Absolutely. Good question. You're right in there with me. So it'll pull this number count. But if you want this detail, you do need to go and kind of push a button. So I'll show you how to do that. All righty. So now I have done this, so I can click start emails, and it's going to start sending an email to Jenna every Monday. There she is as my seller up there with my promoted playlist, or excuse me, promoted playbook. So now she's good to go. So that's one way to add someone to a seller report. If you add your playbooks into your workflow, then that's the easiest way to do it, honestly, is get in the habit every time you have a listing to use that promote a listing playbook. Then you have to remember to do all these things. It's just in there for you. You could also create like a smart campaign that's like a text-based campaign that, anytime I add, make someone a client, it's going to give me the task, add their MLS ID. And, so you could definitely make like a playlist to remind you to do these things. But in this case, promoting a listing playbook is the easiest thing. So the other way, if we're not going to do our easiest thing, the other way to promote a listing is going to be, the other way to add a seller report to someone is going to be if you go to the Smart CRM over here. And if we click on a person, so let's say it's real life, and I've got Kennedy here, right? Well, she's a renter, so let's say Bob Christmas, right? Bob Christmas. I click on their name, and here it's in the action section. But it's not the actions that you're going to take. It's one of the automated actions that KV Core takes for you. So it's in the bottom section. So all the way down on the bottom on the right, this is where you can add their seller report in. So same thing as before, you just add in their MLS ID. I don't know if I said this already, but you can put multiple people on a seller report for a singular property. You can also put each lead and contact set up to get multiple seller reports, right? Because if I have more than one listing, I can get a report for each of those. So you can multiply. It's not like it has to be one and the other. So then I add that in. And now green, this person is set up for seller reports. I can choose to send them a seller report right now. And I want to show you one other thing that happens. So right now, Bob is an active lead who does happen to be a seller. Now that I've added in this seller report, if I hit refresh or refresh on my whole thing, it is going to update Bob from being an active lead to being a client, because we assume that if you're going to send them, information about a specific property and what you're doing to promote that property, that they are a client, right? That's the idea with this. So I added them as a seller. So now it updates them to client, and Bob was already a seller, but if he wasn't, then we would add seller to him. And that's both through this option and also through the promote a listing playbook. Either way would add that kind of functionality in there. Yeah, what is actually in the seller report? Great question. So what is actually in the seller report, let me, I talked through it, but let me give you kind of a visual. If I send this right now, there's not anything to send. So here is a visual. It's kind of small. The kvCORE seller report overview. Let me chat this to everyone who's live. And for anyone who's not live, it is on that outline doc that will be either available below in YouTube or that you can look at. So what is a seller report? So a seller report is going to have, it's a report of basically the activity that you're doing to get their home sold, and it's sent out once a week, right? So that's what's included in a seller report. It's going to show the number of people who have viewed the property, open houses, and you can also add in comments. So let's show you how to add in the comments. So in the listing section, if we go and look at my listings over here. So let me search for that MLS ID. Oh, just kidding. Search for MLS ID. So each listing in our listings section, if it is your listing, you can go to the timeline and you can add in different comments in here. So the comments that you can add in would be an open house. So maybe you wanted to not just say, hey, you've had an open house, which is what pulls in from the MLS, but maybe you want to give them a rundown of what happened at the open house, right? So let's say I had an open house today. We had 10 visitors. We had, one was a neighbor. I might even put who it was. So, maybe this is Teresa down the street. We had 4 agents pop in. And we had, so what's that total? 5. So we had 5 potential buyers. One was very interested, but needs to get pre-qualified, right? Or pre-approved. Right. So I could give them more information, right? Let them know, okay, who really showed up, or let them know what the feedback was, right? They loved this, or I overheard them saying, they had a hard time visualizing themselves because of all of your family photos, right? Things like that. So like something that you want to tell your sellers, or maybe you have told their sellers, right? Maybe you have told your sellers, so you should probably take down those, the personalization and make it a little bit easier for people to visualize themselves, things like that. So if there's something you want your seller to know, you could put it in here. You could use this, you could feature this. So it's like extra bold on the report if I want to make sure that they see it. I could also choose to hide. So I could hide this from the seller report. Like if this is just something that I want to know for myself, or my admins can come in here and make comments too. So maybe there's a comment here from my admin that's really like directed towards me, the agent. It's not something for my seller to see. So they can put something here on the timeline, but they can hide it from the report. You can too. Yeah. If I use the Open House app, does the info from the app go into the report automatically? It does not. That is a really good question and definitely a good feature request. If you have If you have an open house that has like 2 people, maybe you don't want that information going to your seller, right? Maybe it was raining a whole bunch, so they didn't show up. Um, so it does not go in there automatically, but that is a good feature request. I could definitely see a lot of value in that. When you're setting it up in the app, do you want the results to be added to your seller report? I could definitely see some use cases around why that would be a good idea. So submit that. go ahead and send that to us with that chat widget right there. Let us know. Yeah, I definitely see lots of use cases for that being a good idea. Great question. When it shows them the listing views online, there's only people that viewed it directly on your personal website. Yes, great question, Erica. Those are only people who view it on your personal kvCourse site. So that's one thing that we'll talk about next as we talk about optimizing. So that's what's included in the report. Who viewed it, any notes that I want them to see. So included in that could be any comments, like maybe I have a comment, maybe there's a showing and there was a comment. So this is definitely the kind of thing you want to showcase. Back in the day, your sellers knew that you were doing the job of advertising their house because they saw all the business cards that people left, or they saw the footprints on carpet. Like they could see these things. Now that everything is so digital, sometimes we kind of need to prove what we're doing. So you could come in here and as a comment, I purchased a property boost, or I did this for advertising, or telling them things. I did a virtual showing. 10 requests for virtual showings, things in that they might not necessarily be able to see that you're doing to get their home sold, right? So different kinds of comments. So the two big pieces of information that are going to show up in that seller report, right? It shows their online views, it shows agent comments and activity. So to get this to be more and more impressive, what we want to get in the habit of, one, is optimizing the comments. So making sure that it's part of your strategy, part of your organization to keep a running list here. Plus, then you have a timeline of all the work that you have done to get this home sold, right? It's a way to keep yourself organized as well. Maybe you have a specific list, a checklist of activities that you do to promote every listing. There's our promote a listing playbook, but you could do this to keep track of, like, maybe you have your own promote a listing playbook in your head or on an Excel sheet or a Trello board or anything like that. And so you could put that kind of thing in here too. So that's one way to optimize, is to get as many people as possible, or excuse me, make it as much of a habit as possible that you're writing down the activities that you're doing. You can also look at your leads activity in here. So I can see today one of my leads and one of my contacts has viewed this property. So that's the second way to optimize this, is to get more of my leads and more of my contacts to view this property. And another way is to get more of my brokerage's activity. So other agents' leads to view this property. That's what I want to do in order to get more eyes. I just want to be promoting each listing as much as possible, right? And so to get higher counts on here, what you want to do is be promoting your listing. So if you go into your Smart CRM, one of my absolute favorite filters in here is kind of hidden. Well, it's not hidden, we just don't go there. It's all the way down at the bottom, right? We don't scroll all the way down very often. And I can look at my property interest. So what this filter does is it will filter through all of your leads and all of your contacts to see who might be interested in whatever property you put here. So as I go and I get a new listing, I can come in here and put in my MLS ID of that listing, or I could just describe it, and I can apply that filter. And I've got one contact, that's fine. Now I click, if I had a whole bunch, right, I could click that box to pick my whole page. And now my goal is to get Vicki, or all of these people to look at this property. right? So I can send them a mass email. She's in my sphere of influence. So I'm not going to directly ask her if she likes this listing specifically, but I might send out, we have this one called single property, right? We have this single property email template, really simple to use. All you need to do is pick the template and then add in the MLS ID of that listing that you're trying to promote. Personally, I would update the subject line, right? That's not a great subject line to get open. So I might say just listed in Ramona, California, or some kind of call to action, right? Here's my, or let's see, do you know anyone who might be interested? Question mark. People like questions. It gets them to open emails. And so this is going to autofill. It's going to autofill your header. It's going to autofill the listing image. It's going to autofill the price, listing address, and then this view listing button. So if they click that view listing button, then that counts as a view. Just opening the email, unfortunately, doesn't count as a view, but if they actually go and view this listing on your website, that'll be really helpful. So let's say I'm sending this to my sphere. Do you know anyone who might be interested? I might give them a little bit more of a call to action in here. I might add in a little text because I can add something in there. Hey, first name, I know you aren't looking right now, but could you click to look at the house on my website and give me some feedback? Right? So I could kind of call their attention. This is a big attention grab. If in the middle of like a produced looking email, you insert their name, it looks really personalized. So that's all you need to do. You don't even need to do this little text addition. All you need to do is send them an email and use that template and send it on its way, right? You could also create your own templates to promote a new listing. You could go to Done For You services in the marketplace and say, hey, I want to create a couple email templates to do XYZ. Could you make a couple templates for me? They will do that for you. You could make your own templates. But the idea is we want to reach out to as many people as possible and let them know there's a listing they might like. So leveraging my current contacts, that's another way to optimize my seller report. You know, get views on this property, reach out to anyone who I already have who might be interested in this property. The next thing I want to do is to actually promote the property itself. And I could do that in all kinds of ways. I don't think I have this on my outline yet. Okay, I do. Yep. So single property squeeze page, a multi-property squeeze page would also work. Let me write that on there. Okay. So as I go to promote a listing, I can go to my lead engine, right? We always want new leads. And so the ones I was specifically mentioning would be a single property squeeze page, right? That's really good to get eyes on a specific property, which is what we're doing here. So I'm going to put in my listing. I'm going to put in the MLS ID. And then anytime I make squeeze pages, I'm going to source it. Am I putting on my Facebook business page, a Facebook group, a Facebook ad, LinkedIn, Twitter? You know, where am I putting it? A blog, because I want to know where my leads come from. So these are going to go to my Facebook business page. I'm going to add hashtags. So this is going to be 23412. Spelled mountain wrong. Mountain Peak, right? Because I want to know. And then I'm going to have them actually register on this property. I don't want them to look around for free. I want them to register here. That way I can, track more views, generate that link, put that link out into the world. We have a ton of training on how to do squeeze pages, so I'm not going to go go down this rabbit hole unless I get a lot of questions about it. But that's how you can do a single property squeeze page. Take these links and share them out into the world, things like that. Can you put squeeze pages on your Google business page? Absolutely. Anywhere that you can share, that you can put a link, you can put a squeeze page, right? So response to a call capture text code, any of my social medias that allow linking, blogging, newsletters. Ooh, a newsletter. I'm adding that. Drive traffic to the listing with a newsletter or a blog post, right? So lots of different ways to get eyes on your listing, right? You can do can you repeat where I get a direct link? Yeah, so as we're building out a squeeze page, so I chose the single property squeeze page. I put in the MLS ID. I put my source. So in this case, I'm going to put it on my Facebook business page. My hashtags, I like to hashtag if I'm advertising a specific property, I like to put that as my hashtag pretty much always. And I'm going to choose to just do immediate registration. Like they still get to look at 1 or 2 photos. I think it's 3, but not 1 for free. And then I need to create my link. So I click generate link. So click that green generate link button, and then my links will appear. Yeah, direct link is generally for Facebook, always likes a direct link. Anytime you're making some kind of an ad, you'll want to do a direct link. And the short link is for anytime someone's going to see the link. So like a call capture text code response, a blog article, if I email someone a link, like just like this, Instagram, if I put like the link in the bio, I'm gonna do the cute link. Twitter, because characters count on Twitter, things like that. That's kind of the difference there between direct and short. Yeah, good question. Regarding that squeeze page, you still have to create the Facebook ad, correct? So Frank, that's a great question. So with Facebook ads, okay, let's take a step back. Our whole goal is to capture contact information, right? Whether it's from holding an open house or knocking on someone's door or handing out a flyer, I'm hoping they call me, I get their contact information. Same thing here, just digital. So I can get information through Facebook in really one of 2 ways. One way is taking this link and putting it out onto Facebook, excuse me. For example, I might choose to put it out onto Facebook by making a post here on my Facebook business page. I might choose to put it out onto Facebook by putting it into a Facebook group or putting it on my personal profile. There's rules about personal profile sharing though, so you just want to keep it more personal than business, so just keep that in mind. But here now I've made a squeeze page, so check out my brand new listing. Please share on your page if you think your friends would be interested. Now, I'm doing this quickly, but if I'm making a good post, I'm definitely going to put some emojis, something eye-catching in there. I'm definitely going to tell them a little bit more about this listing, right? Not just check out my brand new listing, this beautifully landscaped 3-bedroom, 2-bath, blah, 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 in the award-winning school district. I'm going to give more information, right? This is just fast, quick, and easy. So then I post it. So this is one way to get people's contact information. So when you post this squeeze page, people who see the post, and now Facebook is being slow, but so when people see the post, they click on it, it takes them to the squeeze page result, which is in this case, being squeezed to your website to look at this one property. In this type of usage, they are then registering on your KV Core website. So in that case, no, you do not need to make a Facebook ad. However, I will say that there is definitely a variety of ways and pros and cons to actually getting the lead. For example, if I post on my business page like I just did, the way Facebook functions currently, I think it's about 8%, about of my current business page followers will see that link. That's it. So if it's truly new lead generation that you want, posting on your Facebook business page, like just like I did just a post, not the most efficient thing to do. I do it in training because it's the easiest way for me to show you. Okay, so good question. If I really want new leads, so reaching new people, Facebook groups are significantly better because there's way more people there. There's all kinds of strategy. You know, you don't want to just be posting squeeze pages and that's it. You want to be commenting, you want to be active. You want to make sure you're obeying the rules of the group. Like, am I allowed to post something that generates a lead at all? You know, otherwise they'll ban you. So you want to be mindful of those things. Now, an ad is a way to pay to get your people's eyes on what it is that you're creating. So let me refresh that. So if you want to get truly new people to see what's happening on here, one, you can post it on here, right? So, you know, here's a different squeeze page I made earlier. I could boost this. So this is boosting this individual post. It's showing people Christina Hampton, this business page is wants you to see this list of properties by ocean with ocean views, right? So I'm paying to get this post in front of new people. The other way is to create an ad, as you mentioned. And so this ad, if I do an ad, I don't have to create a post first. Additionally, I don't even have to use a squeeze page. So when it comes to how am I actually getting their contact information, that's what you really want to think about. So here it's posted here, someone clicks on this, they look at properties and they register. I'm capturing my information in KV Core in a squeeze page. If I make an ad, I don't actually have to make a squeeze page. Like, I can just do a picture of a property. It doesn't have to be a squeeze page, because if I do this ad, then they're registering in Facebook. So you just want to think about how I'm capturing their contact information. Is it through a squeeze page, or is it or a landing page, something like that? Or is it through an ad that's in Facebook? Now, if you do the ad in Facebook, you then want to make sure you get those leads into KV Core. That's a whole other conversation involving Zapier, which we definitely have a course on, or excuse me, a previous session on that you can check out. But good question. So the URL is there when they click on the picture. Sure is. So it wasn't loading up, unfortunately. So let me try that again. So what happens? I click post it or paste it, and then the image of the property appears. Once the image of the property appears, I erase this ugly link, right? Nobody wants that. That's ugly. And I say, you know, something, my new listing, share it with your friends, you know, all that good stuff. And then I post it. And yes, exactly to your point, that photo then becomes the link. I mean, it's the link either way, whether or not I choose to erase it or not. Like, let me show you one. It doesn't want to load. So let me just show you one I've done in the past. The one I did this morning. Oh, now it worked. All right, so there's my listing. They click on that and it takes them to that specific property on my agent website. And then as they start looking at pictures of this property, so 1, 2, 3, it's going to have them register as a lead. Now, I've already registered as a lead. Here I am as Stephanie, so it's not going to ask Stephanie to register. However, now Stephanie has seen this property, right? So even though I'm not getting a new lead, Stephanie is viewing this property. And the more people who view the properties, the better my seller report is going to be. So that could even be something that you do. You could make a squeeze page, you know, take this cute little link, make it so people never register, and you could send it out to people in an email that way. So that's another way to promote your property, get more people to look at it. Now, remember, there's also this promote a listing, right? So a lot of what I'm saying to you is also going to be here in the promote a listing playbook. So you don't have to remember everything I'm saying. You get a new listing, the next step you should do should be go to promote a listing. All right, so here's my most recent one. So we're just going to view that and keep working through that. So I could notify the other agents in my office. Recall that when I look at my listing here, I can see my leads activities, and I can also see any brokerage leads activities, right? So if I want more brokerage leads activities, so this would be other agents in my company, other agents in my office, even other agents on my team, anything like that. This would be what their leads are doing. How many of their leads have looked at this? So to do that, I want to help, make sure my other agents know about my listing. So my promote a listing playbook will help me do that. I can notify agents, let's say I'm going to send this to all agents in my office. And I'm going to use the email template, promote a listing playbook. I don't have to do that. The subject line is a great new listing just hit the market. Help me find potential buyers. So if you ever get an email in your inbox that says this, please click it. Right? It's other agents utilizing KV Core and saying, hey, I've got a new listing. You should check it out. Right? So it says new listing announcement. It includes the email address and the main photo here. And it includes some basic pricing. Now, this is my favorite thing. So the agents can then go view the listing, doesn't have them register, just has them go view the listing. But it also says find matching buyers. So they will get this email in their inbox. They click this button, find matching buyers. And this is so cool. This opens up. So like, let's say I'm Christina, but let's say I sent this to Kelly, all the agents that are in my office, Kelly, Brett, Heather, Marielle, the trainers. And so they get this email. And so Marielle goes and clicks find matching buyers. That button is going to take her into her KV Core account. It's going to take her to her smart CRM, and it's going to take her to see all the contacts that she has that are going to be potentially interested in this listing, right? So it's going to give her a whole list of people that she already has that might be interested in my listing. So I'm helping her do her job. I'm also helping myself get my property sold. So I love that one. So promote a listing, notify the agents, send them out an email. So that way they can view your property and they can check and see who they already have. Other items in this playbook, look at your own matching buyers, right? So just like we went and looked through the MLS ID, this is a little bit larger of a list. This smart list is also looks for anyone who has search criteria that matches. It might not be exact, but it's similar, right? So Vicky Moon, we already saw, but this added a few others, William, Greg, they might also be interested in this property. So it sends them a text, and I can schedule out an email, right? I can even make changes here. So if I wanted to add something else, I can. Now, I don't know why, but the text message goes right now. So make sure you're sending at a text appropriate time and it's not like midnight. And then scheduling out an email, that can go out today. But, I don't know why, because I'm not a programmer, but you do have to actually schedule this, right? Here's a new listing you don't want to miss. This is very similar to that single property one that I looked at and showed you, right? Okay, so now I'm ready. Let's go ahead and send my text and schedule my email, and that will go out to my contacts. It's also going to have you create a text code so it's easy for you to use. And it's going to make it easy for you to promote this listing, right? Because then we're going to skip to leveraging our social media. So Property Boost is where you have us promote this listing for you, right? And here's some examples of what the ad might look like. And then here's how I can promote this listing. So instead of hand making my own squeeze page, there's another option on here. Like it just gives me my squeeze page. I can just copy this link and I can click F for Facebook and it's going to make this link for me. Put that link in there. Click share. And we're having some issues with Facebook today, so it took me a little while. I don't know, it's giving me issues, but that's all I need to do. Click on Pinterest, click on Twitter, so I can post all of these things. I can easily post on Craigslist. I can create a virtual tour, right? Or show off my virtual tour, excuse me. Right, so it gives me all these things that I've already put in the MLS and makes it easier for me to share them. Right, and then here's my seller report again. So to optimize your seller report, you really want to do two things. One, you want to get more eyes on your listing, right? Lots of ways to do that. Tell the other agents in your office, in your brokerage about your listing and to look through their CRM. You can look through your CRM for contacts. You can promote to new people with property boosts and squeeze pages and landing pages. So that's one way to optimize, get more eyeballs. And the other way is to put into your workflow as you do activity with a property, go to your listing section. There's even this hot button that says my listings. So it's easy. You don't have to like sort through everything. It just goes straight to your listings. I don't have any because I'm not an agent. But just go to your, use that my listings filter to easily find, your listings. And when you look in here, get into the habit of clicking on the timeline, right? And adding comments in here. So two things, get more eyeballs on your listings and make it a habit to add into your listing timeline. And both those things will optimize the results of your seller report and keeping your seller up to date with the activities that you are doing. Any other questions about seller reports? You've been pretty good about asking them as we go, but I just like to check. All right. What about other questions? Any other questions that you have about seller reports or about KV Core in general? All right. Well, if we are all done for the day, I'll still hang out with you. We still got some time left, but I'm going to end the recording. Quick reminder though, is that if you are watching the recording, you can scan this QR code right here. So that way you can sign up for anything in the future. You can also, this article, or excuse me, this doc, let me chat that out to everyone who's live. There you go. And anyone watching the YouTube replay, it'll be down below in the comment section or the description section. Yeah, absolutely, Ashton. How to add a manual sold listing to your website. Absolutely. So also in the listing section, there is a drop down for manual listings, or you can just click on manual listings up here. So we've got MLS listings, we've got manual listings, we've got my listings. If your account has sold data, you will also have this sold option. So manual listings. So when you come in for manual listings, you'll click on add a listing and you'll put in all the property information, right? So let's say this, property that we've been working with, sells. There we go. So I pick the address and it loads up. Now you can also put in the area and the neighborhood that would have matched with your MLS. It pulls from Google, so it's not going to know that information on its own. So you can put in the area and the neighborhood if you want to. Then we're going to put in all of my other details. So the most important things are going to be this listing type, right? So this is not listing type like the actual type of listing. This is the listing type when it's on your KV Core site. So this is going to be a sold listing. And then you're going to put in all the other information. So this is a single family home. I'm just going to go kind of quick through here. This is 3 bedrooms and 2 bathrooms. It is a single story, 2,004 square feet. Now, I'm not going to do all of this. You can, that is entirely up to you. I'm not going to. Click just for the sake of today. Okay. Click next. Then I'm going to add in a photo. I can add more than one photo. You got to start with one though, right? So let's see, got my sold listing. Open that up. All right, the Top Gun house. So there's my photo. See, and if I want to do more, I can. So if I want to click to upload, go back to my pictures. Pick another image. Oh man, oh that's right. I need to delete that. My camera was all wonky that day. I don't know why. Anyways, there's my 2 images. I put my sold price in here. And I put my sold date if I know that. And I can put the date that it was originally listed as well. I could even add a link in here if I wanted to. For this purpose, I'm not going to. And then listing status. This listing status is whether or not this is listed on your website. So right now it's not listed on my website, right? So this might be part of my workflow too. Maybe as soon as I get a listing, I put it here as a manual listing, so I don't have to do it later. Then when it does actually sell, I just update the sold price, the sold date, and I make it live. So I could do that. I could add any remarks that I want and finish it, right? I'm missing some info. Just in price. I added both those, that's okay. And so then here is my new listing, right? There it is. So that is going to create my sold properties on my website. If it was my first one. So on my agent website, I'm hitting refresh. And then under this Your Agent tab, under My Listings, it's going to show my sold listings. There we go. And so here are all of my sold listings. Okay. Good question. Another question came in. Really good question. Marlene asked, can you market other listings that are not yours? As far as KV Core, the technology and the platform is concerned, absolutely. Right? Look at all of these listings that I have access to. I have access to anything that's in the MLS. So like this property in Bristol, Tennessee, not my listing, but I can come here and I can purchase a property boost. I can promote it onto Facebook, Twitter, Pinterest, Craigslist. I can make a squeeze page to send more people here. So as far as the KV Core technology is concerned, absolutely. As far as compliance is concerned, you will need to check with your brokerage or your local board because different places have different rules, and I do not want to misguide you on that. I have no idea what they are in all the areas of the US and Canada. So if you aren't sure, reach out to your brokerage, reach out to your board. I have talked to agents with all kinds of different roles, but as far as KV Core is concerned, absolutely you can advertise any listing that you want. Let's see, can you show me where those are in the back end? Oh, like my sold listings? Yeah, so all of These sold listings right here are going to be in KV Core under my manual listings, because all of my sold listings I've added in manually. Now this sold might be throwing some of you off. This is different. This is some of you have a data feed for sold listings, but not all of you. If you have a data feed for sold listings, your sold listings are already going to show up right here, right? So these are all sold listings. I don't need to do anything to add them into my website. They're already there. They do show up somewhere a little bit differently. They're going to show up under resources. So they show up somewhere differently if you have that auto feed. But if you are needing to manually add them, they show up under your agent, my listings, and sold. And on the back end, those are going to be under this manual listing section. So that being in your account specifically, but here are all of mine. So I can see, here's that one on Ramona. Here's that one in Vista, which is the second one. Here is this one in Vista, Kenilworth, right there. And then Oceanside, right there. Now this is my kitchen when I really did move, so probably not the best first image to have on here, but it's what I had on my computer at the time. I can go back in and edit that though. Good questions. All right, we've got about 4 more minutes left. What else do you have for me? All right, I'll just be here hanging out till you have questions for me. Can you remove the price from the website? Yeah, absolutely. So if you go into your sold and click on edit, I believe under listing info, yeah, you can take out that sold price. Oh, no, it looks like you can't. Okay. Yep, looks like that is one of the required fields. So looks like you have to have it. If you want it on there to say sold, but like don't want the price, then that's probably going to be like creating some kind of custom page. You can create a custom page with anything. So custom pages, so on my website, for example, I have custom pages that are in regards to Oceanside living, right? I have one that's linked to market information on my, it's already here. I just kind of call it up to the top. I have Oceanside oceanfront properties, which is just a squeeze page that I created and put in there as a custom page. Again, something you can find on my site. I just made it easier to find. And then this Oceanside utilities page, I did make this one. I made it really plain on purpose. It's just hyperlinked to a couple different utility resources. That's all I wanted this to be. So if you want to showcase like your sold listings without having the price on there, that's probably what I would do. I'd probably make a custom page for that. Yeah, so that's under, real quick with the time we have left, web and IDX. And then website content, custom pages. Let me grab you a support article. So you can create your own custom pages. You can also go to our Done For You Success Services and ask them to do things for you. I'm not sure what their custom pages look like. That would be worth talking to that team. Heather does the success meetups on Wednesdays, so you can ask her. She leads that team. But you can add your own custom content and create and custom pages in there. So if you know or know someone that knows HTML coding, you could make something like really well produced. Otherwise, also still well produced, but you could do like some more basic text with photos in there too. So you can definitely add and kind of create your own list of custom sold properties that you have. So you could do that too. Good question. All right. Well, thank you all for your time. Great questions today. I hope you all have a great rest of your day. I'll see you all online. Thank you. Yes, Ashton, the webinar is on our YouTube channel. And I will also put it on this sheet as well when it's done processing. So you can find it on our YouTube channel or just right on this sheet. Yeah. Yeah, this one with your questions. Yeah, you're welcome. Have a great rest of your day.